What time is it? What time is it?
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Happy Easter, everyone, and welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news that's related to boxing. We'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorton. I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We have a great show for you today, and if you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857, and we'll be here till about 8 o'clock tonight. It's Easter. It's Easter, baby.
That's what it is.
We're punching out early tonight.
Nice Easter egg hunt.
That's right. That's right. All right, so today we're going to talk about our fantasy matchups, Lennox Lewis versus Larry Holmes and George Foreman versus Deontay Wilder. Who's going to go to the second round? Stay tuned and find out. But first, going to get started with our news and rumors today. And Beeb, we're going to start it off with the train wreck of the week. UFC 249 canceled. Earlier in the week, you and I did a show about UFC 249 taking place in the Tachi Casino, California. The very next day, the head of Disney and ESPN called Dana White and shut it down. The UFC is now shut down until further notice, and just like that, all combat sports, of course, have been shut down and everything like that. And I mean, rightfully so. You can't have one person going and bucking the rules and everything. You know, my thing always was with this. I don't understand why the governor didn't. I'm wondering, and now listen, I don't have any proof of this or anything like that, but I'm wondering if the governor was going to come in and say, hey, or if the governor may have called the head of Disney or ESPN.
I heard that happens.
And said, hey, let's shut it down. Don't make me get involved.
Governor Newsom and Feinstein, from what I understand, contacted Disney.
I mean, it makes sense. It does.
That's what I was told. That's what I was told. I read it, and then I heard it from a couple of sources, MMA people.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. I mean, the governor. Did you really think? On paper, it was a brilliant idea. Okay, in the sense that he kind of found that loophole, and then. He's going to have this Fight Island or whatever the case may be. That's right. Mickey Mouse told Dana White to pump the brakes. But like I said, man, it was a brilliant idea from the standpoint that you found a loophole. But it was a simply horrible idea given the fact the state of the country and, the state of the country's in with this social distancing thing, this epidemic that's going on. And not to mention, and this was pointed out to us last week in the chat, and it's something that, I didn't even really think about. What about the people that are out of work? What is it? 6 million applied for unemployment last week. I think 3 million before that. So we have almost 10 million people out of work here. Yeah. And it's going to go even further. You're going to see more people this week making claims, filing claims for unemployment, everything like that. I mean, so it was just a bad idea. It was a bad look. The biggest thing for me, though, was the interview he did afterwards. Now, he did an interview with ESPN's Brett Okamoto. Brett Okamoto, right?
That's correct.
So he did an interview with him beforehand where he was explaining that he was going to go on an Indian or, he's a place in the U.S. to do this, and then he was going to go to Fight Island. He's got this place called Fight Island, right? Where he's going to hold all the fights at. And he refused to say the locations and everything, just basically saying, it doesn't matter where it's at. So he's got all this going on. And so he told him about this beforehand. They get shut down. He does another interview with Okamoto. And me, man, I never really criticized Dana White. I'm usually on his side because I think he does a lot of good stuff. This interview was bad. I mean, this really, really was bad. I mean, this is one of those things he should have just shut up for. You know what I mean? Come out and explain what happened, that you got the call or whatever. Every second sentence Every other sentence was like, but we're ready to go April 18th. We're ready to go April 18th. You know, we got Fight Island coming up. That's going to happen. We could have really took this fight. You know, we could have just said the heck with ESPN and done this fight on our Fight Pass. But, you know, they've been really good partners for us and everything like that. Dude, if there's no way you didn't see you were walking the line with this, because this could have been a real big thing or it could have been a real big failure. We don't know. Now we'll never know, thank God. You know, now we'll never know.
I think it would have been
but
a failure.
They were $65 a pop.
Yeah.
$65 pay-per-view when people are out of work.
People weren't buying this. Think
You
about it.
know?
You scrapped, the original main event was scrapped.
Khabib and Tony
And then
scrapped.
and then
Namajunas dropped out.
Namajunas dropped out.
You know why she dropped out?
Yeah, because two of
her people.
Yeah. So how
Two of her family
insensitive
members.
is that?
Yeah. Two of her family members died from COVID.
Exactly.
So what? I mean, if that, you know, you as a promoter, if that didn't hit you right there saying, hey, maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe.
But you were right about one thing, and Jesse Reekin mentioned this, and I talked to D-Style about this. Not the UFC, excuse me, the WWE still is having shows. What they're doing is they're having tapings at their performance center in Florida, obviously with no audience, and it's being broadcast on the USA Network.
And I don't think there's a stay-at-home order in Florida. I mean, where I don't know that it affects them.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Here's the thing. You could say, well, the WW that their performance center is not a non-essential business or whatever, right? But again, that's not really a business. Is that a gym? No, it's not really a gym because it's Vince's property. It's his company. So can you tell him? Can you tell him that he can't be on his own property? And I'm sure D-Style made this point where because it's taped, maybe he's only bringing limited people in at a time. Maybe he has something worked out with the governor that I'm only bringing in a few like one match at a time, or I'm only taping one match
governor
at a time.
could care. That governor in Florida.
And that's a Republican. That's a Republican. Yeah, that's a Republican governor.
Careless anyway.
He was a guy that wasn't closing the parks. You know, he was very lax over there. Anyways. Very
much so. He wasn't closing the beaches. Nothing like that.
Yeah, he wasn't closing the beaches. So it was like so maybe because it was in Florida. What Dana should have done if he was smart was he should have had it in the WWE Performance Center and asked Vince if he could use it.
Well, I don't. Yeah, you know. Well, he was still got shut down by ESPN.
Yeah,
you know?
ESPN wasn't gonna hear it.
And then you had a commission. You had to have a commission. There's no commission there.
I'm surprised USA doesn't care. They're like USA's not. But
you know what's funny? They had Lee Daniels on. I think it was MSNBC. I was turning it around and tuning different channels. And Lee Daniels, a guy who does what the heck is that show? Empire. Is it Empire? You know what I'm talking about? You know what it was. Big show, but I never watch it.
I'm not crazy about it, but yeah.
But so he does his show Empire or whatever. They stopped filming over this whole thing. They stopped filming, and just about everybody else has stopped filming.
Oh wow!
I don't understand how the WWE is going on with it. 3 of their guys. I read 3 of their guys got this. Got the corona.
There was another guy that had just got over, like he had like leukemia or something. Who's the guy that had leukemia?
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. He says I'm not wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm not
I don't blame him.
So I don't know how Vince is getting away with it, but he's still doing shows at the Performance Center in Florida. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Centurion's son in the chat said his brother's a doctor in the ER and was caught this COVID-19 a couple of days ago, and now he's in the ICU. And Centurion, definitely thoughts and prayers go out to you, and I hope he's doing okay, and I hope he'll be fine. He'll pull out of it, man.
It's such a weird thing. Some people get it and nothing happens to them, and other people get it. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It is weird, you know. And he said like his brother is I guess his brother is young and doing better, but many older people get it and don't even get a chance to fight. And he's right. A lot of older people get it and don't get a chance, but some older people get it and they pull through fine.
Yeah, it's weird.
It just,
So
man.
I was able to go see my aunt today. You know how they did it?
Tell me about that. Yeah, tell me about that because
this is like the only facility that I've known that did this. So they have like a porch, and they were bringing like 2 residents out on the porch at a time.
That's so great.
They were doing 6 feet social distancing, and we were in the parking lot. Right. And obviously, we weren't close to our aunt, so we were far away, but we were talking to her from the porch, like she was on the porch, like a little elevated porch. It was kind of cool.
That's really neat.
So we were able to see her. At the
really cool that you were able to do that, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's cool.
And it's really cool for them to be able to do that. I mean, for the place to be able to do that for them, for the residents and stuff. That's really I've seen that. I've seen like people outside of windows kind of talking on the phone, but they're, almost like a prison thing where, they're behind the window and then, but you're talking on the cell phone or something like that,
And do you know that facility has not one case of coronavirus?
I imagine
there's not one person in that assisted living that has it. But
I imagine that they're really cautious over there. They have to be.
But there's some places, like there's a place in Revere called the Jack Satter House. A lot of people have it. A couple of people died too. Yeah. Man. Chelsea, Massachusetts is getting bad. Manny will tell you.
Yeah.
Manny lives in Massachusetts. It's getting bad here. Chelsea's like a hot spot. I don't know. They're saying there's like, I don't know how true this is. There's something like in the water or something. I don't know, but I don't. It just. Here's so much crazy stuff about this virus. I don't know what to believe anymore. And with all due respect to Dr. Fauci, I mean, he's the expert. And every time he's asked a question, he says, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like, so if the experts don't know, then what are we going to do?
Well, and there was talk in South Korea that you could get it twice. Dr. Fauci believes, he said that you could only get it once, but there's talk in South Korea that some people have gotten it twice.
What he was saying was that he was questioning that data as well because it wasn't clear if they were getting a different virus or not. But I did hear that too.
Yeah.
They don't. But now they're saying we don't know if there's different strains of it, just like there's different strains of the flu. So I don't know.
What happens? I mean, when do we? I'm of the opinion that we don't see normal sports guys with audiences this year. Yeah, I don't think we see it this year.
May not even happen. It may not even happen in September.
Nope. I don't think, like I said, man, I don't think we see it this year at all. I mean, especially you think about it, like, okay, are you going to set? I mean, they're going to open up. I mean, they're going to have to open up soon. Probably within the next month or so. I would say, what did Trump say? May 1st. That's what he's shooting for or whatever.
Yeah, but Dr. Fauci was saying that they wanted to do it in like increments. Like they wanted to open up certain areas and stuff like that. I don't think we're going to be one of those places. You guys may open up more than we will because you don't have that many. You don't have. We have a lot of issues over here.
They shut everything down early over here. They shut everything down early.
You know what I was thinking though? Everyone's saying, well, how come America has so many cases compared to other countries? This is what people don't understand. We have so many people from Europe and from China. We have people like so many businessmen here have do business over in China. So many CEOs have companies over in China. Like this country itself, there's so much in and out traveling here, like more so than any other place in the world. We have more foreigners coming, like more foreigners and tourists in this state alone. We have like 1,000 like Chinese foreign exchange students, and because a lot of we have
ridiculous.
A lot. So people like why do we have more than anyone? Because we have
America, son.
We have so much traveling in and out of this country, more so than any other country. More so than any other country in the world. That's what people don't get. New York, so many people from New York go to China regularly.
Well, and even take that for a second, okay? Because all it takes is one. And when you see like the transportation in New York, again, they got a subway.
And then people
all these people crammed in like sardines going in there, you know? I mean, it's different. It's a different animal, man.
And then the whole thing with South Korea, people don't realize they were prepared because they just got over a pandemic and then this came right behind it. So they were ready.
Yeah.
They were ready. And, so if you want to make comparisons to, this and that, listen, everyone's getting slammed here. Everyone. 183 countries have this, So to answer the question, why do we have more cases and why do we have more deaths or whatever? Because we have more travel in and out of this country than any other place in the world. How many people?
That's it.
We have so many people going to Europe, coming back and forth. We have so many people going to China back and forth. It's not the same like as in other countries.
No, nobody's trying to get into Pakistan. You know what I'm saying? I mean, nobody here is traveling to Pakistan. You know what I mean? It's not a hot international country. You know what I mean?
This is the great American melting pot.
It is, and everybody's welcome here. That's the thing.
Everyone comes in and out of here.
And everybody that comes in, they're always welcomed. You know what I mean? You feel welcome when you're here. I may go to a different country and not feel welcome, but why don't when you come here, you're welcomed.
We have so
because there's so many different cultures.
Go to MIT right now, which is in Boston, right?
Yeah,
it's in Cambridge. Go to Harvard.
Yeah.
We have so many Chinese, Korean, foreign exchange students. Like they like everyone comes to Massachusetts to go to college. We have the best colleges in the country. We got MIT. We got Harvard.
Yeah.
We got Boston College. We got Northeastern. We got great colleges here.
Sure.
Got the best hospitals in the world here. So what are you gonna do?
That's the thing, man. I mean, it's and the thing is, like, just because you don't have a hot spot now, what like my fear is that like they talk about we're going to open it up in sections. So say like South Dakota, who doesn't have much there. I mean, it's not like anybody's trying to get into South Dakota anyway. But when they open it up, you know what I'm saying? Like when they open it up and them guys go out there or whatever, it's like, what happens when they flare up? You know what I mean? Oh no. I mean, but crazy. I mean, London, New York City, Amadeo says London, New York City, and Toronto are probably the most diverse of cities, man. I believe it. I think you could throw Chicago in that mix. I think you can throw Frisco in that mix. LA definitely in that mix. There's a lot of diverse countries. I mean, or a lot of diverse cities out there, man, for sure. Idaho. That's another place nobody's trying to get to. So yeah, man, I don't think. I mean, I'll be honest with you. They're talking about bringing like basketball and baseball back, man. I think if they do, I don't even know how they do.
What's going to
happen? Because you got to test all those guys.
Yeah. What's going to
happen? And then look, when, I mean, look, like you talk about test all those guys. We don't even have enough tests here in Ohio. Like, we don't have any tests. Like, if we suspect you got it, you ain't getting tested unless you get admitted to the hospital, go in the ICU.
And that's what pissed me off, the whole thing with Dana White saying, oh, we're going to test everybody. And it's like, with or without symptoms, those guys, like all these athletes can get tested, all that, like,
That's BS, man.
And then I was listening to a talk show on YouTube, and one of the questions was, why are all these athletes getting tested and we can't get regular citizens being tested? You know what the response? You know what the response to that was? Well, just like anything else, the wealthy always usually get first dibs on things.
Yeah, well, that doesn't
that's
fly,
great.
Man.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, that's what everybody wants to hear. So, so if you're poor, you're gonna die, or if you don't have, if you're not wealthy, you're gonna die. I mean, come on.
That's why, politically, it's so hard sometimes because the whole thing with Obamacare, I would go back and forth on that, and at the end of the day, in theory, and just just in theory and just the humane thing to do would be to have Obamacare, because everyone should have an option to be insured. You
want to be insured without this? With this going around, you want to have insurance?
So, well, I have to say this, in defense of the Affordable Health Care Act, everyone would have been more people would have been protected if that was still around, because there's like, certain people had access to Medicare and not Medicare, but Medicaid. Because the Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act had a provision for Medicaid. That's gone. That's gone now. So we still have like, we had Obamacare even before there was Obamacare in this state.
Right.
And ironically enough, I told you about this. Mitt Romney was the one that passed it, And then when he was campaigning against Obama, he was against it. But we're the only state that still has that mandate. If you don't have it, you have to pay a penalty if you don't have health insurance. We have a website called the Health Connector, and if your employer doesn't have it, then or even if your employer does have it, and you refuse it, you can go on the Health Connector and get insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
MB says there's no test for COVID-19. Even the PCR test doesn't work. The inventor of it said so himself. Stop it. Stop it. Clearly, there's a test to see if you have COVID-19.
He just retracted it.
Clearly, there's a test.
Listen,
I got it in front of me, son. Listen, you can't retract it now. I done read it. I can put it on screen if I want.
Everybody's got all these conspiracy theories.
Stop it.
Everybody's a fucking coronavirus expert now.
Everybody's a doctor now.
Everybody
got their med degree.
It's so funny. All the people in the media coming out, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. You weren't saying that a month ago. So you don't have the right. You can't come out and say it now. No one had a plan.
Shoulda.
Governor Cuomo said out of his own mouth, we underestimated this virus. And you know what? It was a common thing to do based off of the information that was put out there. It's understandable.
I tell you what, the only guy I'm taking health tips from that's not a doctor is Georgie Porgy. That's it. He was the one that called the sun.
Yeah. He's the only one that could talk. He's the only one that could talk shit.
Only one.
Only one.
Only one. MB said, sorry, I retracted. Once I start, I can't stop. Yeah, the best part, man, I tell you what, some of these people on Facebook, like you see the post all the time. It's just like, you wonder if they believe some of the nonsense that they're spewing out. Everybody's looking for a conspiracy theory. The bottom line is, look, there's no conspiracy here, man. We got a sickness going around the world because you got to think. There's no logic to tanking the economy. People are saying, well, it's to control the people, and if they want us under control, they're still tanking the economy.
My freaking aunt got the stimulus check.
I haven't even got it. Have you gotten a stimulus check yet?
My aunt did it. She's in the assisted living.
My friend got a stimulus check, and I'm like, where's mine?
I thought they were supposed to send them out, send out the payments on Monday. But some people got them all. My aunt got it already, and she's retired.
My friend got his like last week, and I've been reading on Twitter like some other people have got them. I'm like, what? I'm like, come on, man. That's insane.
Hilarious. That's hilarious.
It's insane. JC said he got his. Well, he's right there in D.C.
Did you really?
He's in the heart of it, man. He's right in D.C.
My brother's asking me every day, when are we going to get it? When are we going to get it? Can you set it up so I can get mine direct deposit? I said, listen, I got to wait for the
Well, doesn't he do a check? Or does he get a check mailed to him from the IRS? Like when he does taxes and stuff, he doesn't do it like out of his bank account?
He got it.
Because
I did his taxes for him this year, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I told him? I said, have him direct deposit it to your bank. No, I want the check. So
Why?
now because he's an idiot. So now I told him, we got to wait for that link to go up on the website so I can enter your direct deposit information in. I said, if you listen, because that link's not going to be up till like April 15th. So I told him, I said, if you listen to me, you would have got it faster, but you don't want to listen to me.
Yeah, I don't understand that, man. I mean, I got, my tax, I always do mine direct. I've done direct deposit for years, man.
Yeah. I usually, I've been paying these last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, it's so much faster too. I mean, whether you pay or whether you don't, whether you receive or pay, it's so much faster via direct deposit.
I pay him via via the account, my bank account too. I just have it take it like it's an ACH transfer to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it. That's how I do it. Now, if you pay them through ACH transfer, will that be the same as?
Yeah.
They should, if they have
they should have it. Yeah.
They should send it out.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they got your bank account, like I said, they'll have no problems with it. Yeah. At least they should. And who knows how long that's going to be backed up for? I mean, who knows? Like I said, some people have got. I don't know how. Some people got it.
If some people got them already, then that means they're doing a good job getting them out.
All right. Fight Doctor said there is a logic to tanking the economy. You got me. Go ahead. I want to hear the logic. So Fight Doctor.
He's going to have to call in to explain that one.
He's going to have to. Is he on? He might be on. Hang on. Let me check this here. Yep, that's him. I think that's him. All right. I think 312. Aaron Daly, thank you so much. He said, shout outs to co-host Jason and Georgie from the UK. All right.
Don't shout out Jason, please.
Yeah, don't shout out Jason. You've done. Let me tell you about Jason before I go to Fight Doctor here. You've done so much for Jason, and I'll tell you this. Like Beeb is a good guy. I dropped Jason a long time ago, and I told Beeb to get rid of him. I told Beeb, I said I didn't want him on the show, this and that, because he said some disparaging things, and Beeb, Eric, just calm down. I think we can work this out. Blah blah blah.
You know what I'm afraid? I'm afraid that he's going to do something bad to himself if we don't let him call in anymore. Because he literally calls me up. He calls me up in tears. Why won't Eric take my call, man?
I remember that. You remember that when I shut him out of the chat and I shut him out of the call?
And he called me.
Crying. You remember he was crying?
And I got to see. I'm not even going to get into the things that he.
I'm not even going to. I'll tell you what.
Some of the things he said to me.
Yes.
They were very. I don't want to really get into it.
The fact that he threatened you on Twitter to get you to turn you in.
Yeah,
that's how we promote things, everything like that. I mean, just nonsense.
Yeah, he was going to report me. He was going to try to shut my account down because I exposed something he did.
And you know what?
You saw.
I don't even know whether I should say this. You are a really good friend to him. You're a really good friend to him. You really are. And the way, and I'll be honest, I'll pull the curtain back here a little bit, is that I talked to Jason before on the phone. I used to talk to him and stuff like that, just, via text and stuff. Jason is the same guy, and I think you can vouch for this as well. The same guy that calls in, the same guy you see in the chat is the same guy you get outside of this. There is no redeeming quality for this guy at all. And I don't want to get too much into this. And but you've done a lot for him. I'm
trying to save him. I even told him I'd fly down there and just spend a weekend with him, like a father and son type situation.
And I don't want to bring I don't want to bring the money thing into it, but I know what you've done for him. Let's just put it that way. And it's
pretty sad.
I don't know, man. It sucks. I don't get it.
I've literally saved that kid from himself on several occasions.
Absolutely.
If I was to show you some of the texts that I get from this kid, very disrespectful.
Yeah. Aaron Daly says, we're not letting him back on the show. I know he was controversial, but what did he do? Well, I'll tell you what he did, Aaron. And I don't know that we won't let him back on the show. Maybe I'll give him a chance to
we'll let him back.
Maybe I'll give him a chance to explain himself. Beeb, take young Jason under his wing. So apparently, Jason likes to push buttons and everything like that, but kind of took it too far today when he told Beeb he was going to, report him to Twitter to try to get him banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's just nonsense. Yeah. So, and this is kind of the way we promote our show and everything through social media and everything like that. So if Beeb gets banned, it's just he can't promote his shows. He can't promote this show. He can't. It's just not a good look. It's not a good thing. I got
a lot of people that depend on my tweets.
I depend on them. That's for sure. Well, we tweet the show out constantly. So, Yeah. So for him to do something like that, I mean, and you guys, like I said, man, he calls you, you're friendly, and this is what I'm talking about. And he'll come on. I was just joking. I was just joking, dude. I don't care anymore. I don't care if you were joking or you weren't joking. The fact is, look, man, this is you can't act like that. You can't act like that. I told you to drop him a long time ago.
We already made it clear there's a couple things that we don't tolerate. Racism, homophobia, and pedophilia jokes. We don't like the pedophilia jokes and the homophobic jokes, and we don't like the racial jokes. And he's crossed that line on several occasions, and he continues to do it.
My thing is, I think that he just, and I'll be honest, whatever he says, I've got a thick skin and everything like that. I whatever. But when you start threatening people, when you start threatening to, get your social media banned and everything like that, and, come on, man, we don't need that.
And then you make fun of people's parents when they're dead and gone. I mean, that's
yeah, I mean,
it's kind of bad, bro. I would never do that to anybody. I would never make fun of anyone's family.
No, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you always you never really make fun of anybody's family. You leave family out of it, I mean, that's the thing. I mean.
So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, Georgie's right. He said Jason can't go against the show, and that's what he does. And how many times, and the other thing is, how many times has he been on social media and just trashed the show? He's completely trashed our show on more times than I can even remember. And that's why I wanted him gone to begin with. So, that was my thing.
Just let everyone know the only reason why he's here is because of me.
That's it. 100%.
I say I have to talk you off that ledge every week.
Every time, like especially something like this, for sure. And the only reason he's here is because of you.
And then he calls me up crying every week.
I do remember the time he told you crying. Yeah, I want to talk to Eric. And then he had to apologize to me, and it was.
Why can't I come back on? Why can't
pathetic,
I come
quite
back
frankly.
on? If he was not able to call into this show, like one time I blocked him on Twitter. He was like begging me, please don't block me. Please don't block me.
He does that to other guys. Like other guys block him. And he's like, oh, come on, let me back in. I was just kidding.
Champ Life blocked him, and he won't because Champ Life is a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump hater. I'm not a Trump hater, but I made one statement to this kid before. I said, because I don't vote, because the last time a Republican, Georgie will tell you this, the last time a Republican won this state was in 1984. My vote
was Reagan, wasn't it?
Was Reagan.
Yeah.
A Republican has not won this state in 36 years.
Right.
So I don't vote. I don't vote because my vote's not going to matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who runs for president. A Democrat is always going to win this state. They're always going to get the. So I don't vote. So I made one statement to this kid. I said, you know what? As bad as Trump is, I said I still liked them better than Hillary Clinton because I didn't like Hillary Clinton, and I don't like
a lot of people didn't.
And I don't like Joe Biden, and I'm not a fan of Joe Biden either. So if they want to get Trump out of office so badly, then run someone decent against him.
Right.
Should have ran Bernie against him. Bernie would have a way better shot than Biden.
Way better. Much better candidate, I think. But, whatever. But, I'm not, listen, I mean, if you like Trump, you like Trump. I don't like Trump, but that's okay too. I don't care what you're saying.
I'm kind of agnostic towards Trump. I just don't think that I'm not going to blame a virus on him. I'm not going to go like the whole blood on Trump's hands thing. I'm just not going to go that far with it.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't create the virus. It's not like he ate a bat,
Does he say a lot of stupid things? Yeah. Do I agree with everything he does?
Does he lie a lot? Yeah.
Does he lie a lot? Yeah.
But listen, he's done a lot of good things, but he's done a lot of bad things too. It's the bad with the good. It's everybody.
But unfortunately, in the world of politics, sometimes we have to take the lesser of two evils. And in my opinion, in 2016, he was the lesser of two evils. That's just my opinion. I'm not afraid to admit it.
All right, let's find out why Fight Doctor, I believe this is Fight Doctor, thinks tanking the economy is a good idea.
Let's go.
Fight Doctor, you're live.
Fight Doctor is in the house on Rick James status as always. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's happening, man?
What's going on?
So listen, the super rich, the people who own everything, okay? Every once in a while, they manufacture these depressions in order to essentially make us more into their slaves. Now, if you go back and look at the Great Depression, okay, the big stock market crash of 1929, that was manufactured so that the rich could squeeze everything from the middle and working class and come in and buy up everything at pennies on the dollar. They also use these depressions as a means to rob us of our constitutional rights. Now, you have, now in 1929, you had, I forget what it was called, but if you go back and look at the history of what Congress is doing about the time that you have these depressions, there's always something that they do to rob us of our rights. Now, most recently, you had the for 9/11, you had the what was it called? The
Patriot Act.
Patriot Act, yeah, the Patriot Act, yeah.
Patriot Act, yes. Right. So if you go back and look at 1929, there was something similar to the Patriot Act that was enacted right before or right about the time of the Great Depression. And so the rich, they manufacture these things so that everybody goes broke, and then they come in and buy up everything at pennies on the dollar. Now, in 2000, so in 2000, when you had, of course, 9/11, and you had the Great Depression, the Great Recession, that was a result of what happened on 9/11, which I believe 9/11 was an inside job. It was manufactured. And one of the two of the purposes of 9/11 was to A, help the rich get richer, and B, rob us of our rights, further deprive us of our constitutional rights. So what you had was the banks, essentially the big banks buying up all the little banks. This is one of the results of the Great Depression that we had, the Great Recession that we had in 2008, was this amalgamation of the banking system. Whereas before, you had a bunch of smaller to medium-sized banks and only a couple of big banks. Now, you have a couple of big banks who bought up all the smaller banks.
Facts.
Okay?
Facts.
So, this is what they do.
Facts. People's United Bank bought up Danvers Bank, that little rinky-dink bank. Now I got a People's United Bank ATM card, baby. Facts. Go ahead, Fight Doctor. Spit it. Spit the real shit. Let's go.
So yeah, if you just go back and look at the history of it all, and you have to excuse the noise. I'm actually at the grocery store buying water.
That's all right. You gotta do what you gotta do,
If
brother.
you look at the history of it all, this is what happens. Yeah, this is what happens. Every so often, they have to have these, or they don't have to. They have these depressions, these events, to essentially crash the stock market, so that the rich can come in and buy up everything up under us at pennies on the dollar. Okay, and look what happens when you have these depressions. What happens? Congress goes, and who do they bail out first?
Businesses.
They always bail out the big
banks.
corporations first.
The big banks.
They're
and
the ones
big
who employ
businesses.
things.
Right.
They're the ones who employ people.
What happens to the
Okay,
small
now-
businesses? The
now-
small businesses
now-
go under, and they get bought up by the big businesses. And the big banks, big bank eat little bank. That's horrible, Eric. Come on, brother. Let's get with the real.
Now, most of the people in this country,
What's the matter with
most
you?
of the people in this country, most of the working people in this country don't actually work for some big business.
They don't.
They don't. They work for small business.
Small business
Okay.
get crushed, man.
But when you have these types of events, when the
Beeb,
stock
don't you
market
work for the
crashes,
government?
the first entity to get bailed out.
I'm a municipal. I'm a
sorry?
municipal person. I'm small. I work for
Municipal
the city.
worker?
I'm a municipal worker. I don't work for the government. I'm a municipal worker.
You don't work for the government. Okay.
I work for the city.
That's the government.
Oh, in an indirect way, I work for the government. Yeah.
But guys, that's what happens when we have these events
That's how I know the
The
playbook.
first entities to get bailed out are always the super big businesses. And most people in this country don't work for some big, super big
Think
corporation.
about it. Look at all these airlines. Trump's gonna bail out the airlines. He's gonna bail out all the big banks and stuff. He's gonna bail out all the.
Do you remember? Hey, Beeb, do you remember the movie Billy Madison?
Yes.
You remember at the end when he's doing that quiz and the guy, he gives the answer and the guy says, at no point in your rambling, incoherent thoughts were you ever close to the real answer? It's kind of how I feel here. That's exactly how I feel.
The one thing about Fight Doctor,
You could not be any more off base.
No. I think he's got some. Listen. Why are all these?
All right, so answer me this.
Sure.
Gotta give the kid credit. He's spitting knowledge here.
Right now, now in this country, most people. Do you agree that most working people in this country do not work for a big corporation, but they work for small business? Is that not accurate?
Facts.
I would agree with that.
Facts.
Okay, now, right now, Congress, who are they talking about bailing out right now? Who are they trying to bail out?
Auto companies, auto companies,
airlines,
cruise ships. Who else?
Now, out of the 330 million people who live in this country, how many people do you think, out of that number, who work in this country, how many people do you think work for directly the airlines, the cruise ships, the automakers, or some business that supports those businesses?
Now, let me ask you this, but let me ask you this.
In that industry.
But let me ask you this. Would it be fair to say, while most people may work for mid-range companies to small companies, that these companies employ the most people? In the sense that, like, if it shuts down, okay, so a mid-range company employs more than a big company. No.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. Let me jump in for 1 second, Fight Doctor. Let me jump in for 1 second. You're talking about these big companies. Collectively, when you grab all the small businesses and put that workforce together.
Sure. I would agree with that. No question.
Right.
I would agree with that.
Right.
But they all have to close. You close Ford. Okay, let's say you close Ford or GM or one of those big car companies, okay? You're not just affecting Michigan. You're affecting a lot of other states. And then you're affecting the economy because what do people buy? They buy cars, all right? Then you're affecting the economy. The economy goes south. Jobs go south. Everything goes south. That's why they look to bail out the big companies first.
But here's the problem when you bail them out. They buy.
Not to mention.
They cash in. They use it to friggin' cash in their stock options. The big banks, when they got all that money, what did they do? They hoarded it.
I agree. Listen, they did a horrible job.
Misappropriation of funds. Every time.
No question. They went they did a trip to Tahiti or whatever on the one. Remember that?
Kick some more knowledge, Fight Doctor. Kick some more knowledge. Bring Eric up to speed.
Now, let's say if one of the big airlines were to fold, okay? What would realistically happen?
You'd lose a lot of jobs.
What would realistically happen is
you lose a lot of jobs.
True, you would. However, some other entity would come and take its place.
That's it, Fight Doctor.
It's not as if.
What if Delta? Let me ask you a question. What if Delta went out of business? Delta's got hubs in Cincinnati. They got hubs in Atlanta.
If Delta went out of
international hubs.
Then you take JetBlue. Simple as that.
JetBlue doesn't go everywhere. You're talking about an international company. They have flights all over the world.
JetBlue can
put people out of work, son.
JetBlue can adapt.
Here's what happened. If Delta were to go out of business,
JetBlue can adapt.
They don't even fly to Jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Delta were to go out of business.
Go ahead, Fight Doctor.
So here's what realistically would happen if Delta were to go out of business. Some other entity would rise and take its place. All those people who didn't have jobs would now work for that new entity. All those airplanes that were flown with the Delta symbol
you got all the answers.
would now fly under another flag. That is what realistically what happened. It's called capitalism.
That's it. That's it, Fight Doctor.
Is that right? How would they afford
when the
to
money
take
is
on
flowing,
all the other stuff? Where does the infrastructure come from if they're not?
That's
if they're not
basic.
prepared,
That's basic economics. That's basic economics.
What you're asking them to do, you're asking a smaller company to take on a bigger company when they don't have the infrastructure to do it. They could not do it.
Well, here's what they do: they merge together these small companies, and they absorb the big.
They went out of business. Nothing to merge, Beeb. Then they got to pay all these employees. It doesn't work. They don't have the capital.
Someone's going to.
But here's what happens. Here's what happens. You employ the capitalistic process.
It'll just work itself out.
When the dust settles.
That's how business works in this country.
When the dust settles, there's always one.
That's how business works in this country. You invest in the business with other people's money.
So your logic is that they tank the economy on purpose. So your logic is they crashed the stock market in 1929 on purpose to cause the Great Depression.
Yes. Listen, it was J.P. Morgan.
You convinced me, Fight Doctor. You convinced me.
The sound argument, let me tell you.
It was no, seriously, guys. You need to look up the history on this. Okay, with J.P. Morgan and
it's not a coincidence. We always make it out of it, though, isn't it?
It was about 10 or 11 of them. Well, it's manufactured. Okay, so listen. At the end of the day, the way our system works, the end result is bankruptcy. Okay, so the government of the United States
just print more
borrows money at interest. Okay.
Just print more money. Just print more money.
But no, the United States government does not actually print any money. That's not true. That's a misnomer. The United States government does not print its own money. It borrows money from the Fed, from the Federal Reserve, at interest. Okay.
That's why the interest
and
rate's
to
at
pay
zero
back
right
that
now.
money, it has to borrow more money.
The interest rate's at zero right now.
Well, the interest rates are at zero as an attempt to jumpstart the economy. Okay,
That's right. That's right,
what they're
baby.
trying to do. But you have to understand that this is all manufactured in the first place.
It's a coup d'etat. Is that what you just said?
Well, listen,
big coup d'etat right now. What's going on right now?
Listen,
I'm glad you fight, Doctor.
I'm glad, Beeb, I'm glad you said that because that's essentially what happened years ago.
That's
when
what it is.
the big businesses bought out the United States government.
This is economics
so
101,
they own the
Eric.
government.
You better get out your notebook. This is economics 101. All right. Better start taking notes, son.
I tell you what, listen. When I get around to it, I'm going to send you both the facts, links to the facts, so you can see for yourself exactly what I'm talking about.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait till Fight Doctor. I cannot wait till Fight Doctor calls in next week and explains 9/11 to us.
You know, you got to stop respecting Fight Doctor's. You got to stop respecting Fight Doctor's opinion. You got to stop.
Listen, when it comes to boxing, I respect his opinion all day long. But
the only thing I disagree with him on is
he's off on this.
Oh, listen, wait.
Go ahead.
And before you let me go, just one other thing, Beeb, I owe you a roasting about the whole Muhammad Ali Tyson Fury deal. Okay?
Come on, Fight Doctor, let him have it, man. Let him have it.
Tyson
now,
Fury
my question for you is: how many heavyweights do you know could roll off a 7 or 8 punch combination?
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
No, I've never seen Tyson Fury throw a 7-8 punch combination. Have you?
He went to town on Deontay Wilder.
Eric?
I've never seen a 7 or 8 punch combination from Tyson Fury. No.
You weren't watching close enough.
So that was Muhammad Ali. Okay, that's the fighter he was. Now he had a lot of flaws. Okay, but listen, there are a lot of fighters in history who did some things wrong, but they overcompensated by what they did right. For instance,
that's
Felix Trinidad.
Facts, Fight
Felix
Doctor.
Trinidad wasn't the best boxer in the world, but in his 1 year at 147, he was damn near unstoppable. Okay,
Schooling Beeb right now.
He was
damn near unstoppable.
Schooling Beeb.
So I would like to see Tyson Fury. I would like to see Tyson Fury land a punch on Muhammad Ali. How about that?
I don't even think it happens.
That
That
jab would be like a guided missile.
He might hit him on the way down, but that's about it.
That flick jab would be like a guided missile.
And listen, let me ask you this question. How effective do you think Tyson Fury will be in the 13th, 14th, or 15th round?
Well, there's only 12 rounds.
That's a great question.
At 6'9".
There's only 12 rounds.
No, wait, see now. Wait, no, see, Muhammad Ali fought in the 15 round era.
Yeah, but there's only 12 rounds in our tournament.
I tried
Okay,
to.
but Muhammad Ali fought in the 15
I
round.
protested against that fight, doctor. I wanted 15-round fights.
Is that why you picked Fury? Is that why you picked Fury? Because he thought he would be ahead after 12 rounds.
Yeah. Fury's got great stamina, buddy.
And I questioned Fury's stamina because I thought he looked a little winded in the 6th round of the fight with the rematch with Wilder.
Yeah, but he got second. He got a second win.
So, yeah. So I would like to see how he would handle somebody with the speed and slickness of a Muhammad Ali, and what he would look like after 5 or 6 rounds of swinging and nothing but F.
There you go.
So I like Ali in that fight.
Okay.
All right. Everybody else liked Ali too. So, hey, you're in good company. All right, Fight Doctor, we're going to get running, man. We appreciate it. Call back in, and we're going to hear about the 9/11 conspiracy next week. There you go, Fight Doctor. Man, Beeb, he really schooled you. Really schooled you on the Ali thing. Got to listen, man. He was way off on the other thing, though, to be honest.
He's good at economics, but he doesn't know boxing like me.
He's good at economics, but he doesn't know boxing.
Like me.
Like you, yeah, absolutely. Notorious VC says he misses Ringside Robert, Beeb. I like Robbie.
You could send him.
Robbie's still a friend of the show. Robbie's still a friend of the show.
You can send him a
nothing to miss about him.
You could send him a postcard if you want.
Stop it, Beeb. What's the matter with you? It's Easter.
That's right. Happy Easter, Robbie.
Notorious VC. I couldn't agree more. Joe Burrow is going to bring glory to Titletown. That's right. That's it. All right. Let's see here. Before we go back to the phones here, a couple more news articles, and then we'll get to our fantasy fights. Adrian Broner is contemplating a return to lightweight. He wrote on social media this week, Beeb. He wrote a few things, but the paragraph that got my attention, it says, "But when I get in this mode, it isn't good for you." Speaking of the quarantine, because you think, at any given time that I get back, I say F everything, Instagram, Facebook, all social media, and focus on boxing. If I focus on boxing 120%, it's over. And then not only that, just think if I go back to my regular weight of 130 or 135. Son, you cannot make that weight anymore. That's just bottom line. Comfortable or uncomfortable, you cannot make that weight anymore.
It's not happening.
He's done, man. He's calling out Devin Haney. Come on, son, stop it. It's done. You flushed it. And you know what? Everybody, they always flush it, and they always look back when they get older talking about, I could have done this. It could have been this. It could have been that, blah, blah, blah. Listen, it's over, man. He'd never make 135, ever. And if he did make 135, he'd be drained. Couldn't do it. It would be bad. This one is very interesting. We talked about Floyd Mayweather's daughter. Notorious says he can't even make 140. I don't even know if he can make 160. Mayweather's daughter faces up to 99 years in prison for stabbing that chick. If she went in there and stabbed that chick in both arms, she had emergency surgery, by the way. Sentencing guidelines for this charge range from 5 up to 99 years in state prison and a $10,000 fine. Aggravated assault. She's being charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in the state of Texas.
Uh-oh. Yeah, she's going in.
Yeah, that ain't good, man. They don't play around in Texas.
She's going in. How old is she?
19.
She's going in.
19. Yeah. Start washing fresh out, man, because I tell you what, man, I don't know. That ain't good. Because especially in Texas, it's never good. Let me just clarify, it's never really good to stab anybody. Just one of those things you kind of draw the line on. But when you stab somebody in Texas, it's even worse because they don't mess around with crime over there.
Again, I'm trying to be, as understanding as possible. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to kick someone when they're down. But what the hell was she thinking when she did that?
She's above the law. That's what she was thinking. Really, why would you go in there over that guy? That guy? You saw him, right? And he made a video, and I guess he called Floyd a bad parent or whatever. Whatever. I really care less. But, listen, man. What are you doing? You can have anything you could possibly want, and you're stabbing people.
Yeah, that's.
But Notorious hit it on the head too. He says they got a violent family history over there, and he's right. They do. They have a very violent history.
They do. They do.
They can't hold their temper, So
it's out of control.
Not good, man. That ain't good.
In. She's going in.
I have a feeling she'll be going in too. I really have a feeling she'll be going in. Speaking of going in, 508, you're live.
Hey, yo! What's happening, people? I'm good. Can you hear me?
Dr. Georgie, how are you?
Yo. Let me start with fucking Jason, dog, before I forget. Jason, baby boy, you welcome here. You like family to the show. As a matter of fact, you
wouldn't go that far.
And you probably would be the color of the year again.
Wouldn't go that far.
Well, listen, to a lot of people, he's a character. He's a character that a lot of people support and like in the show.
It is.
That being said, nobody can come here against. Eric, even there's no boundaries, man. But listen, like I'm saying, let me get this Jason shit out of the way. Jason, baby boy, just come back, nigga. We respect the rules. That's all being asked from you. That's it. Nothing more you might do. Don't go against the show.
I mean,
he's like Fredo in The Godfather, isn't he?
He's offended you on several occasions, Georgie, but you keep forgiving him. I mean, you're a stand-up guy.
You are a stand-up guy.
I know.
He's better than me on a lot of levels.
He's fucked up because listen, this is the problem. This is the problem, bro. Because we get too many chances to people. Like, if we have real democracy here, right? Like, if really people will vote to make the laws. What would you think with people who got fucking like 3, 4, 5 strikes out? What do you think humanity will do to them?
I don't know. You usually get one strike with me, and that's it. No.
And that's it. That's what I'm saying. That's supposed to be the rule. Because a lot of people don't understand this. Let me see how I explain it. Like, if somebody comes and hits you in the face, right? Not even that hard. With a feather. And I go there and punch that motherfucker like 200 times. Is that's fair? You think that's fair? That's equal?
It's hard to say.
Do you follow me here?
I'm a little lost.
I'm
sorry.
All right, if somebody comes to you and hits you in the face, not even that hard, and you come back with these vengeance and hit the person like 100+ times,
right?
Would you call that fair? Do you think that was fair?
If they hit me and I hit them 100 times, yeah, I think that's fair.
100%. Because you can hit me one time. You can hit me one time and give me a brain tumor. It's all it takes is one shot.
That's it. All in one shot.
No, but listen. But this is what I want to tell you, people. After you do something, you took first out of the equation. That person will never be first. Do you understand that? After you do something to somebody, that person will never be first. That's what's really important, not to do shit to people. Because you're taking that first away from them. And some people don't take that shit kindly. Anyways, listen, Fight Doctor is right. Fight Doctor is fucking right all the way, my dude.
You thought Tyson Fury would have lost to Ali too?
We're joking about Fight Doctor. No. Hold on now. Easy now. I don't know about that because, Fury's mad big. Even that George fought. How so with George?
Because that was the only logical point you could have agreed to with Fight Doctor's call.
But now, on the whole, humanity didn't play, baby, because this is the thing. Like, yeah, we don't war on China. We against China. We don't war with them in some fucking Cold War type of situation. That's a given. But what people got to realize, that is humanity. Not really Chinese people. It's humanity against these cocksuckers on the top. And there's a lot of them. from the WBC Mafia all the way to the fucking WHO
10
World
seconds.
Organization. We sold the fuck out.
WH.
How the fuck? Listen, how the fuck? Listen, let me burn. How the fuck Falusi? How the fuck these motherfuckers got so many patents on the AIDS and the proteins that they're gonna base the fucking treatment that they're gonna roll up against this fucking coronavirus? What's wrong with that shit? There's many questions that instead of talking about OJ and Fury and this and that and the third, there's a lot of questions we haven't got to ask to find out who's fucking you. In this country, we spend $1.6 trillion fucking dollars a year on defense. And you're going to tell me there is no one algorithm on all these computers.
Did he just drop?
I don't know. Georgie, are you there? Georgie, I think you might have.
That phone is horrible, man.
Is Rikers, man. What are you going to do? Seriously,
I don't know what's going on with his phone.
I don't know.
We just got a busy signal or something?
Yeah, hang on one second. It looks like, hang on. Let me call him back in here. Here, hold on. Give me 1 second. I think I might have dropped him. Georgie, if you're still on, I'm going to put you on mute. You can come back on. Hang on. I think I might have dropped him, Beeb. That might have been my fault, son. How about that? Oh. All right, Beeb, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
All right.
Did Blog Talk just cut out?
No. I don't know. I think this was my phone. This might have been my issue, though. All right, let me call it. Let me call it back in here. Hold on.
Jason just texted me. He said Blog Talk is down.
Yeah, we'll see.
It says no show scheduled.
Jason's on the phone. Jason's on the phone right now, so hopefully we can get to him here. He can beg for forgiveness. That would be nice. Give me 1 second.
Now Jesse Rican's calling me. I guess he's probably trying to get in too. Was there a 516 on there?
Yeah, Jesse Rican's on there. You know what? I think Blog Talk might be down because it just like ended.
But everyone on YouTube. But everyone on YouTube can hear us.
Yeah.
Callie King says he just tried to call in, but he got dropped too. So Blog Talk just went out.
Hold on.
That's crazy.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, that's got to be down here. Hold on. I'll try one more time here.
Yeah, so when you call into the show, it says there's no show scheduled within the next 24 hours.
Blog Talk sucks.
So
I hate it.
It probably just went out.
Yeah. Blog Talk got the corona.
It's because of the coronavirus.
That's what it is. I mean, seriously, I hate Blog Talk. They're always screwing up. I mean, always. I don't believe it. So, I mean, because you know how, like, so I set the show for an hour, all right, on Blog Talk. And you know how, like, you know, when you set it for an hour, it comes in, you could still go beyond that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could still actually go beyond that. You just can't have calls after that. Like we couldn't get any new calls on there after that. But yeah, sucks. And like it's still like, and I know it's down because it just keeps spinning. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
I hate Blog Talk. You want me to see if I can get it back on there?
Yeah, see if you can get it back on.
All right.
See
Hang
if
on
you
one
can
second.
schedule all the show or something.
All right, let me see here. Guys, give me a second. I'll go back to Blog Talk, and then we'll get to fantasy. We'll give you guys all an opportunity to call back here.
Georgie, porgy, pudding pie.
All right, while we're waiting, I tell you what, while I set this up again, why don't you talk to me about Deontay Wilder and George Foreman, the first of our fantasy fights?
All right, so let me go with George Foreman and Deontay Wilder. So Deontay Wilder, as we know, is very technically flawed as a fighter, but does have the good right hand. His jab is a little bit underrated when he wants to use it, though. It's a pretty good weapon. It's a good setup punch. He's improved immensely with it. But the big problem with Deontay Wilder is, as we all see, tries to load up with the right hand, throws one big shot at a time. And every now and then it will be a nice, perfect, straight right hand down the middle. But for the most part, it's usually wide. And it's usually a real, kind of like a real wild shot. It's a wide, wild shot. But George Foreman is a big puncher with both hands. He can hurt you with both hands. And his jab is not only a very powerful jab, but it's a very accurate jab. So Deontay Wilder uses his jab more of a rangefinder, where George Foreman uses that jab and he can hit you with that jab and push it back because that's a very authoritative punch. His jab sometimes is like a lot of people's right hands. So George Foreman is a very underrated boxer in his own right too, particularly in the second half of his career. He was a great technical guy. He's a real smart boxer who could set up his. But the old George Foreman was more, but he could put shots together. His shot is wide. They had a little bit of a loop, but he could throw shorter punches too, and he could throw straight punches as well. The big problem that Deontay Wilder is going to have is he's going to try and load up with one shot, and George Foreman's going to be throwing two to three shots to his one, because George Foreman was a very aggressive, active fighter, and he was a guy that did throw a lot of punches. Even in the Ali fight, we saw how many punches he was able to throw, and Ali just was able to weather the storm with the rope-a-dope. The big question is, would Deontay Wilder be able to employ those same tactics against George Foreman? Because he's not as elusive as Muhammad Ali, and definitely not as defensively sound as Muhammad Ali. So I could see George Foreman and Deontay Wilder going head-to-head with each other like two rams like button horns, locking horns, button heads, locking horns. And at the end of the day, because George Foreman has more weapons, he can hurt you with both hands, and he's better at putting shots together, and he's better at setting up his shots, and his shots are a little bit tighter. I think George Foreman's tighter shots could get inside of Deontay Wilder, and I think George Foreman would stop Deontay Wilder in probably 3 or 4 rounds. I'm going to say George Foreman by 4th round, knockout here.
Very good. Very good. All right, guys, Blog Talk is back up. We got another 60 minutes there. If you guys do want to call in, you can. We had a bunch of people online. This always works out this way, Beeb, doesn't it? Where like the shows that we don't think are going to get, Easter and everything like that. So guys, give us a call right back here.
Everybody call back in. Everyone.
If you guys want to call back in, you can. So there you go. All right. So I'll go over the George Foreman Deontay Wilder fight. I'll tell you, it's funny, man, that the thing that makes this interesting to me is that both fighters really had freakish power. Both guys can get you out of there with one shot. Foreman, honestly, never really lost his power when he got older. He lost quite a bit of speed, but not his power. He was always still dangerous. Deontay Wilder had 10 title defenses when he was heavyweight champion. That's a lot for anybody, man. That being said, we've told you this on many occasions, and it shouldn't be anything surprising to anybody. Wilder has always been an extremely flawed fighter in the sense that he looks for one big right hand and that's it. He always seems to land it at times. But again, his luck ran out against Tyson Fury in the second fight. George Foreman was a gold medalist in the Olympics. He can definitely box. And I understand that he was a bronze medalist, Wilder I'm speaking of, but bronze and gold's a big difference, man. Big difference. And the time when Foreman fought, again, big difference. I can see Foreman actually outboxing Wilder, and I can see Wilder getting frustrated as he normally does. And I think that the more frustrated Wilder gets, and we've seen this, I think the more wild he becomes. He's going to try to land that shot from any which way. I think Foreman's able to hurt him in just about every round. I think he knocks him down. I think he roughs him up. I think Foreman, I could picture Foreman just roughhousing this guy before taking him out in the fourth round in brutal fashion. George was an amazing finisher, freakish power. I mean, just crazy. You saw what he did to Joe Frazier. That was Joe Frazier in his prime. This was George Foreman in his prime. No way Wilder gets past him, man. My pick is George Foreman knocking out Deontay Wilder cold in the fourth round.
This could be the most one-sided fight in the whole tournament.
I agree. Yeah, this was. I think this is a big one, man. This is a one of those ones that it just goes in. All right, let me see if I can get Georgie back on here. Georgie,
Yo,
you're
you
live.
got me?
Yeah, you're go.
Listen, bro, let me make it quick before we get hacked again and shit. Must be Jason, that bastard. Yo, where was I? Yo, what's up with that $1 trillion? They got a $1.6 trillion in defense. There ain't no computer, no algorithm, no technician, no motherfucking scientist that told fucking the system that you can have 90%, 80% of all your medical supply made in China. When we're beefing with fucking communism.
Good job, Georgie.
Do you follow that thought?
I do follow that. I follow that like a guided missile. Okay.
Nah, bro, I'm serious, man. We've been sold out. All these shit that fight doctors talking about, man, this is like way deep. They talk about, oh, yeah. Oh, there's no secret society. There's no this, there's no that. Baby, they on plain sight. They the WBC mafia, for the love of fucking God.
People gotta stop.
The WHO. Listen, I'm serious, man. We're being sold out, baby. We're being sold out. A lot of people gotta get close out there. Motherfuckers perpetrating the fraudulent left and right. Left and right, bro. How the fuck, yo?
Cracked himself
These
up.
people, they tell you, yo, you deserve. Listen, you deserve a full glass of fucking water, bro. These motherfuckers, they grab the fucking glass of water. They drink half, right? You follow me here. They drink half of the fucking glass. They bring the fucking glass to you. And if you even question that the fucking glass is half full, they're going to say, oh, but you don't see it half empty or you see it half full. Like it's from you because you're a pessimist. These people are evil genius. They're really intelligent. They know how to manipulate people. And you guys just watching the motherfucking Dragon Queen in the Games of Thrones with the fucking knife. Look, nigga, you the knife walker, bro. You the goddamn son of this shit. So when fucking fight got a couple of these motherfuckers talking about so-called theories and shit, you put some respect on this man. The fuck is going on here? So what's up with boxing? Talk to me, boxing, baby.
There's nothing to talk about.
Some boxing to me.
There's nothing to talk about.
So what do you think about UFC 249 being canceled? What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think about that, Georgie?
What are your
What did you
thoughts
guys?
on that?
Were you guys disappointed in Rikers that you wouldn't be able to watch it in the cooler?
Baby, listen, everything's gonna change. A lot of shit gonna change. All these jobs they're gonna bring back all these jobs. All these bullshit. Listen, Trump 2020. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. My girl, she's a Democrat all her life, and I love her. But she's from the wrong because she believes on these people. Man, listen, everybody out there just selling bullshit. You don't know who the fuck the enemy is. Yo, Dr. Falushi, these motherfuckers got so many patents on the protein. Huh?
Is Fauci part of the mafia?
Is Fauci part of the higher order here?
Is he part of the mafia?
Just look into these guys' patents. What happened in the 80s with the AIDS and the patents that he got on protein, how these viruses get attacked? This is complex, baby. It's a little way of everybody's fucking, ballpark. So if you really follow this, because this is like, it's deep. A lot of shit sounds crazy, my dude, but I'm telling you, Trump 2020, everything else is bullshit. That's all I got to say about that. About boxing, everybody making call out. You seen that shit? Now everybody calling everybody out.
Yeah, everybody's calling everybody out, but it doesn't matter.
Years.
It doesn't matter.
What the fuck, bro? Every day he say he's some bullshit. Mayweather coming back. He's got a fucking nap. Yo, 2020. Everybody told 2020 gonna be the shit, huh? Everybody thought 2020 gonna be the shit. This shit is garbage. The whole year gonna be fucked up.
Does Joe Biden have a chance?
Sleepy Joe, you talking about me being Rikers? I'm gonna tell you what. He better not come here.
Well, I'm assuming he's not going to break the law.
About who the fuck he is. Listen.
He better not come
here. This is America.
Sleepy Joe.
Better not come here. That's all I'm saying, baby. Because like you say, you can be trading people. You can be like Jason tried to shut down the show. You can be telling people you're going to do harm to them. That's wrong. But you can let them know that you're not falling to the bullshit. That's what you can do. Take the bullshit, pack it up, and take it some fucking where else. That's about it.
All right.
Everybody out there support the channel. Shout out to the UK, the USA, and everybody else in Maui.
All right.
All right, baby.
Georgie. Very good. Very good call.
Got the WHO on the hit list now.
Jesus. 2 calls, man. How are we going to follow it up? I don't know. Beeb. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to follow that up. 516. And then we'll go to Jason. 516, you're live.
Jesse Reekin.
Jesse Reekin. How are you?
No way in the world you're going to say that was a good call. That was a fucking horrible call.
I was trying to be nice, Jesse. I didn't see the need to stomp all over a man this is he's in Rikers. I mean, he's got to have some good news every now and then, no?
No, if I was doing that horrible, I would expect you guys to stop me at some point.
Well, I would.
Let him ram on
I
like
wouldn't. I have. I wouldn't. I have. But you're not pulling time. Georgie's pulling time in Rikers. You don't see the difference.
Okay.
You are a heartless human being.
Sorry.
Very heartless.
Yes, you got a nice place over in freaking over in Coney Island, man. I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah. What are you doing? Not everybody has your luck, Jesse. Maybe you ought to think about that.
You get 3 square meals a day. This guy's scrounging just to get a bologna sandwich.
Well, no, I mean, Georgie has 3 square meals a day. They're just in Rikers. I mean, you just can't, can't really go outside, but nobody can go outside right now. He's quarantined just like everybody else. Only he's quarantined after the quarantine.
Can't even use the weight. You can't even use the weight room.
It's because, I don't know. Strange things happens in there.
Well, what was the fight that you guys had? The quarantine fight?
George Foreman and Deontay Wilder.
Foreman.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone picked. I don't think anyone picked.
Without a doubt.
No.
Nobody picked Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, Foreman without a doubt.
What do you think about Mayweather's daughter? You think
Eric, how you doing?
You
I'm
think she-
good.
you think Mayweather's daughter's going in?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Which one?
Mayweather's daughter. She was
Mayweather's
arrested
daughter?
for stabbing a chick twice. I guess both arms. Chick had to go in and get surgery.
You know, I said this to Beeb yesterday. I mean, I'm not the biggest Mayweather fan, but, you know, I really feel bad about what's going on in his life. Lost his uncle, doing this, his daughter. I don't know. I can't comment. I don't want to comment on that.
She's going in, bro.
She's going in.
She's going in. This
You should comment. I mean, this is a podcast where, I mean, why would you reserve comment? You're here to be heard.
Well, no, I just feel bad for Mayweather at this point.
Why?
Period.
Does he send you Christmas
I think
cards?
he's
What do you care
one
about?
of the.
He doesn't send you Christmas cards. He's not busting off calls to you, sending his Lear
No,
jet,
but-
trying to get you down to Vegas. What do you care?
Yeah,
Listen, his
but the
daughter's
fact
going
that he
up.
lost
That's
his
that.
Uncle right now. Come on.
You're a cold fish, man. That's messed up. Reese Mack asked, why did Mayweather's daughter stab her? Well, basically, check this out. So she showed up at the house, all right? I guess of her fiance. Mayweather's daughter showed up at her fiance's house. Apparently, another chick was there with him, and that was the chick she stabbed. Rather than just saying, hey, it is what it is, and I'm leaving, you know, I don't know. As far as I know, Beeb, to answer your question, no, I don't believe he is blocked. I certainly didn't.
Oh, he keeps saying he's trying to comment in the chat, and
He's a crybaby.
and he can't get in. I don't know.
Crybaby.
I don't know why he can't get in. He's not blocked.
Well, maybe somebody blocked him. I don't know.
Did anyone block him?
Tell him to use one of his 25 aliases to get in.
I went to his channel. I didn't see that he was.
Yo,
blocked.
can I ask you guys something?
Sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
Boxing fast question. Random question. Ricky Hatton, where does he hold? Like, cause I was watching him today. Like, this is one of my favorite fighters. I tend to watch my favorite fighters again and again. I know the Pacquiao put him over the edge.
Yeah.
But where does he? But he did beat Paulie Malignaggi like pretty significantly.
Yeah.
So where does he hold on? Yeah,
Where does he rank in the all-time greats?
that list.
Yeah, I think he's up there. I think he's on the list. I like Hatton a lot. He beat Kostya Tszyu. No, I like Hatton a lot, man. I mean, he lost to the two best. I mean, lost to Mayweather and he lost to whatchamacallit, Pacquiao.
Pacquiao.
Well, I mean, there's no shame to losing to either one of those guys in their prime. He lost to them in their prime, man. No, I think Ricky Hatton's a great fighter. I think he was an entertaining fighter. Yeah. I think I think he's great, man. I think he's up there. I think he's at least on the list. I don't know if he's top 5. I don't know if whatever, but he's definitely on the list. One of the all-time, one of my all-time favorites too. So, all right, Jesse, we're gonna get running, man. We're gonna put. Go ahead.
What do you want to ask me, Jesse? What do I think of Ricky Hatton?
No, I wanted to get Beeb's opinion on Ricky Hatton.
Nobody cares about Beeb's opinion.
Ricky Hatton will probably get in the Hall of Fame. I think he will. He only lost to the two best. At least he fought the two best. He was two-time world champion, two weight classes.
Yeah, he'll get in. He's for sure getting in.
He'll get in.
Yeah, he's definitely getting in.
Oh, hold on. All right. Before Eric, before you cut me off, bro.
Yes.
I think you guys have two of the best chemistry ever, bro. I watch your show every Sunday.
Thank you, sir.
And,
We appreciate
I love your show, and thank you for. All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jesse, man.
All right.
Appreciate that.
Good deal. All right. Let's see. Before we go to our last one here, our last fantasy fight here, let's get Jason on the phone so he can explain himself. Jason's been taking a beating on the show today, and rightfully so, Beeb. Rightfully so. He doesn't get a pass from me. To me, he's like Fredo from The Godfather. You know what I mean?
I feel bad for
He goes against the family, and this is what happens. But you're a soft guy, man.
He's got a lot of issues, man. I feel bad.
You're a soft guy, man. You're not like Michael, man. You're like that lawyer Higgins or whatever his name was.
Hagen.
You're like the lawyer Hagen, Tom Hagen or whatever.
Yeah, Hagen.
That's you. You're a soft guy. You know what I'm saying? You're not all the way in. You know what I'm saying? You know. I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm coming from here.
I got you.
All right. 706, you're live.
That triple chin fat fuck JC just called Georgie's call boring. His call was the most boring. Never let JC call in again. Guy's boring as hell.
So why did you threaten to get Beeb banned from Twitter? Let's get to the real issue here. Why did you threaten to get Beeb banned from Twitter?
But yeah, why are you guys saying I need to apologize? I didn't try to get him banned. When did I try to get him banned?
Because I saw the conversation, stupid.
Why does he think that?
Hey, stupid, I saw the conversation. What do you think?
Dude,
I didn't see the conversation?
He put my phone number on there.
So you did try to get him banned. So you just lied right now, right? So did you just lie right now? You didn't try to get him banned?
I'm going to block.
You said you were going to try to get him banned, right?
How am I going to get him banned?
That's what you said. You said you were going to report him. You said you were going to report him, right?
Banned. They just tell you to take down.
How do you know? You've been banned from Twitter a billion times.
I'm not going to put somebody's personal number on there.
You've been banned from Twitter a million times. It was an innocent mistake. You know it was an innocent mistake. You know he uses that to tweet out the show, and then you trash him, and then you trash us.
Let Beeb speak.
I'm speaking, son.
What are you, Beeb's lawyer, you little bitch?
Maybe I am, ho. I love how he can say this from Atlanta. He would never say this here.
You're not Tom Hagen.
I know that's Beeb's job. That's Beeb's job. You're Fredo, son. So you threaten to get Beeb off of there. And then you call in here crying that you can't get in the chat for whatever reason. I don't know why you can't get in the chat.
Breathe, Jason. Breathe.
You're Bobby Bacala, motherfucker. You're Bobby Bacala. You need to go eat some fucking cannolis. Shut up and let Beeb.
Bobby Bacala off somebody, didn't he? He off somebody, didn't he, son?
Bobby Bacala.
What are you doing?
He what?
You're the dude from the donut shop serving donuts, son.
Jason, how was your Easter?
Getting shot in the foot.
Dude, why am I blocked from the fucking chat? Why am I black? And that piece of shit, Manny Gatillo, is calling me a Trump lover. I hate Trump, just for the record. I don't know why he's calling me a Trump lover. These people got it twisted. I'm always bashing Beeb for kind of defending Trump, but I'm one of the biggest.
You're constantly bashing Beeb. That's the problem. I hate Trump
more than I hate Bob
and you know what? Beeb's always got your back too. Because when I tell you what, when I wanted you off the show, when I wanted you off of the show.
Come on, I know.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, he knows now. Yeah, he knows now. Yeah, he knows.
Why did you want me off the show?
Because you kept talking trash. You kept talking trash. You kept trashing the show.
We were getting calls from the FCC, man.
You trashing the show. And as much as Beeb's done for you,
I might have criticized you once or twice, like 6 months ago. Wow.
As much as he's done for you, and you treat him like that, he's done a lot for you.
Tony Soprano and the Christopher's intervention.
Done a lot for you, no?
It sounds like Christopher Moltisanti's intervention. Let me speak, dude. This sounds like
he's done a lot for you, you know.
Remember that scene in Sopranos?
You
sound like Polly Walnuts.
Beeb, go ahead and tell Jason what your thoughts are.
Beeb and me have like a little. Man, let me finish, man. Come on, let me finish. Me and Beeb have like a little brother, big brother relationship kind of.
Is that right, Beeb?
Beeb tries.
You're like a battered wife now, huh? He apologizes. He comes right back. I won't ever do it again, honey. I'm sorry.
Nah.
He's coming right back.
Dude.
Okay.
You act like I actually reported him. Hello?
I don't know that you didn't.
Eric,
I don't know that you didn't.
Okay, right.
You're lucky I know the person that runs.
Boy, you haven't let me speak, dude. Shut up. The fuck? Go ahead, Beeb. Go ahead, Beeb.
Oh, you finished?
Oh wow! He just gave you permission to talk. Like Beeb couldn't jump in, huh?
Eric hasn't shut up for 10 seconds. Eric hasn't shut up for 1 minute. Like you didn't even let me.
I'm letting you talk, son.
I was really worried about.
No, I'll wait for Beeb, then I'll go. I'll wait for Beeb.
I had to shut up and let him talk.
I was really worried about you. You called me like 6 times today. You seemed very upset. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. Something happened to you? I mean, is everything okay?
I called you twice. I called you twice.
Is everything over?
I called you twice.
I got the. Oh, okay.
When are you coming to visit me, by the way, Beeb? When are you coming to visit me?
Wow.
When are you coming to visit me in Marietta?
As soon as the band's off, bro.
Let Beeb speak, Eric. Come on, man. Let Beeb speak.
No, I mean, I just want to
Is
know.
Beeb breaking up? I can hear him.
I just want to know if everything's okay. I mean, is everything all right?
Everything's all right, man. When are you visiting me?
Oh,
When are you coming to Atlanta?
I'm just gonna come down, man. Just see how everything's. Make sure everything's okay. I heard there was a lot of things going on down there. I may need to help you out with some. So.
Okay. Yeah. Is that a threat, Beeb?
No, why would I threaten you? I'm trying to help you. I mean, Eric's the one that's threatening you, not me. He's trying to get rid of you.
That's right.
Eric?
I would never tell
Eric
Eric. I would never tell Eric. I would never tell. I would never tell Eric your address. I mean, it's confidential.
Eric, what? You wish you knew my address. But Eric, what happened to your Ringside Reporter poster and all that, dude? Where's all your poster and shit?
Oh, we just moved. Just moved to a new studio, so I haven't got everything up yet.
That takes like 2 seconds. Come on. Man.
Yeah, I was thinking about like.
Hang up the poster, man. Come on, that's so unprofessional.
Shut up.
Come on, bro.
I got to figure out what to do with this room, though.
Come on. Get your kids to help you. That's what kids are for. Make them hang up your stuff.
You're such a fool.
Or you should put up some fight posters behind you. Maybe, put up some fight posters too. Why not?
Yeah, maybe I will.
Because that poster's looking kind of dull too. We should, man.
I don't have a poster behind me.
What did you think about your Uncle Dana, man? What do you think about Uncle Dana lying to the whole world, saying, "Oh, the fights are going ahead"?
They were a go.
Distracting from his fucking prostitution extortion scandal. Hell no, they weren't a go.
They were a go until the California governor came down and shut them down.
Listen. The hospital that is 40 minutes away from the reservation, they said we never even got a call from anybody. They said if there was going to be fights, you would call the hospital, right? I mean, you have to have arrangements and an ambulance from the hospital.
You have to have that, 6 weeks in advance?
Them, so.
Yeah, it's great because you set up so many fights, you know about this. Come on, son. Get it together.
The fights were like a week away. Dude.
Get it together over there, son.
Did you guys discuss Dana's prostitution extortion scandal or no?
No.
Did you guys? Why not? You guys are discussing Mayweather's daughter. Why don't you discuss Dana White? I mean, I think isn't he more like life more pertinent to combat force than Mayweather's daughter?
Yeah, because she stabbed somebody twice.
Yeah, so what? Who cares?
Who cares if she stabbed somebody?
Who cares about Ford's daughter?
She's going.
Who cares if she stabbed somebody?
How does that affect any of us?
It's a big deal. Hey, it's big news.
Yeah, who cares if she stabbed somebody? How does that affect any of us?
Hey, she was this close to becoming train wreck of the week. I have you know. Dana White was train wreck of the week. What else do you want me to do?
Why would you hate on Dana all of a sudden? She's not a celebrity. She's not a fighter.
She is a celebrity because she's a Mayweather.
That's
just like Kim Kardashian was a celebrity.
She's a fucking loser. She's a loser.
Hey,
Kim Kardashian is
you over there talking about Mayweather's daughter, calling her a loser.
Are you upset? Are you upset that Mayweather's daughter's going to jail?
Yes.
Does it bother you?
She's not going to jail. Who says she's going to jail? Who says she's going to jail?
She's going to do some time, bro.
Who said she's going to?
She's got.
Who said she's going to jail?
Do some time.
Who said she's going to jail? Who?
I found out, bro. She's going in.
Yeah,
who said she's going to jail?
Son.
Who said she's going to jail?
Jason's upset about this.
Who?
She's going.
Jason's upset about this.
Who said?
A lot of people think she should be banned from the show, Jason.
Texas? It happened in Texas.
Hey, Jason. A lot of people think you should be banned for threatening Beeb.
Who cares?
She's
threatening
going.
Beeb.
Most people said I shouldn't. For what?
A lot of people think you should be banned for threatening Beeb. You're threatening Beeb.
Guys,
threaten them on Twitter.
Guys, let's ask people in the chat. Is Mayweather's daughter going to jail? She stabbed the girl. The girl had two fatal injuries on her arms. Okay, that's assault.
She had to have emergency surgery.
She had to have emergency. She had to have emergency.
She had to have emergency. Fatal injuries on your arm. That makes no sense.
Okay, did you ever? Okay, so when you cut your wrist to commit suicide, isn't that fatal injury? When you cut your wrist to commit suicide.
Where are you getting all this from?
She cut her arms.
Who cut her wrist? Where are you getting all this information? Where are you getting all this info from?
Are you not reading? That's what happened. She stabbed her twice.
Why is he mad? Why is he mad?
He's triggered.
Were you dating her too?
Tell me the source.
Were you dating her too?
That bitch is ugly as hell. I wouldn't even let my dog date her. She's ugly as hell, first of all. What source are you reading this from? What? TMZ or what?
Sources, son.
Can you tell me
all over the place.
We got our sources, baby.
Yep, all over the place.
So you're just making it up. I got it.
All over the place. Go look. There's a Billy. It's on the police report. Stupid.
You can get a police report on any.
Yeah,
Um,
it says nothing about what happened,
Yes.
how it happened.
Okay, did
was
you read
fatal
it?
injury?
Did
says
you
none of
read
that.
it?
I
Did
saw
you
It says
read
none
it?
of that.
Did
Yeah, I read it.
No, you
Yeah, I read
didn't.
it.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
No, you didn't.
yes, I just told you.
Because
I just told
if you did,
That's why I'm
you'd
wondering
know
why-
the story.
That's why I'm wondering why you make it up.
See how that goes? See, if you did,
should post the
you'd
link on
know
your
the
Twitter.
story.
Guys in the
Post
chat.
on your Twitter. So I can
Guys,
retweet it.
guys
Post
in
the
the
link on your
chat.
Twitter.
Is Mayweather's daughter going to do time in jail after this? Yes or no?
Yes.
There's
Of
no.
course
There's,
not.
there's no
Of course
way
not.
she.
Oscar
There's
De
no
La Hoya
way.
was Oscar
There's-
De La Hoya was accused of raping a 16-year-old.
Son, he didn't try to commit murder.
He didn't. Oscar De La Hoya was accused of raping a 16-year-old.
He didn't try to
He kidnapped
commit
a
murder.
16-year-old. That's just as bad, pretty much.
Is murder?
He
Is
kidnapped
attempted
her.
murder?
That's pretty much the same thing.
Shut up. It's
What? How?
is
what's the difference
raping
between
somebody the
kidnapping and
same
attempted
thing as
murder? I don't
trying to
really
murder
much.
them? That's pretty much the same thing. That's what you just said that out
They're both
loud.
felonies. They're both felonies.
Come
They're
on,
both
son.
felonies. They're both felonies. You know that, right?
Everybody
They're
in
both
the
the same type of
everybody
crime, felonies.
everybody
Stop
everybody in the
Class A
chat.
felonies.
Stop it. You're
Everybody
embarrassing
in the chat
yourself.
says she's going in. She's going in.
Come on.
Remember that movie Good Will Hunting?
Who are the
he
people in
arrested,
the chat?
and the judge goes.
Who are the people in the chat? They don't know shit.
Remember the judge goes like this to Matt Damon. He goes, "Not this time, son. You're going in." I love that. I love that scene. Not this time, son.
He was trying to
What
trying to
movie?
defend himself.
What movie?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. You probably
What
didn't
movie?
see it. You probably didn't see it.
You didn't see it. Listen, I've had enough of Jason. I'm
You
going
don't
to move
have- you don't
forward.
have- You didn't have cable.
Had enough. Had enough of him.
You see
Had enough of
mad-
him.
You see how mad he was getting just because we said Mayweather's daughter's going to jail?
Yeah,
Why does he care?
he was mad.
Why does he care? He acts like he's dating her. Or something.
Listen, you two may make up off the air or whatever, but like I said, man, I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's cool of him to trash you like that. I don't think it's cool of him to go on there and threaten you on Twitter and stuff like that to get you banned and that kind of thing, or report you or whatever he's going to do. But hey, that's your relationship with him, not mine.
I
So
feel bad for him.
he didn't mean it.
She's gonna probably do about 3 years in the can. She'll get like 3.
I think so. I think so. He's not. I mean, listen, man. You've got hard evidence here. She went in there. You got a witness. You got 2 witnesses because the one didn't die. You got 2 witnesses in there that said you went in there and stabbed him, stabbed a chick, girl on girl, whatever you want to call it. There you go. What are you cheesing about over there?
He just
A big
texts
grin
me-
on your face.
He just texts me. He goes, "Why are you lying about me? We're not lying about you.
Nobody lying. It happened.
Everybody saw what you did on Twitter. Everyone saw it.
Everybody's seen it, man.
I mean, I don't want to go back into it. I'm already over it. I mean,
I'm just
say?
saying, hey, that's your
That's-
thing, man. Like I
that's-
said, hey, you're a forgiving guy. I will say that about you. This is what I love about you. You're a very forgiving guy. You're a good human being.
what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
Ralph says she's only getting 6 months. I don't know about that, bro.
Oh no, man.
She stabbed a girl twice, fatally.
Stabbed
in
her
the arm.
twice, man.
She had to get emergency surgery.
Twice in the arm. And yes, you can have a fatal injury in your arm. I mean, just how do you commit suicide? You cut your wrist up. That's a fatal injury, right? Is that not a fatal injury? You could bleed out. That's a fatal injury.
That's right. It's no joke.
Know what I'm talking about here? I mean, I'll admit I don't know about the coronavirus much, but hey, who saw that coming? Is what it
What are you
is.
gonna do about the coronavirus?
I'm not going to do anything about the coronavirus. I'm going to keep washing my hands. That's all I'm going to do. That's all I can
That's all
do.
you can do.
Stay inside, wash my hands, keep my nose clean. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? What do you think I should do in this room, babe? What should I do in here? Should I put the poster back up and that's that? I want to hang the belts up and stuff like that. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know if you can see all that from. Well, I can get a different camera angle
You know
too.
what you should do? You should
What?
put the poster up, right? But you should hang the belts up like right on
Like
the side.
inside the poster, right? Yeah,
Yeah, like
Oh,
right
that's a
on the
good
top.
idea.
Like right. I'm gonna give you an idea. You put the background up, right?
Yeah.
And then you take each belt and you put it diagonal in the corners.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That would look sick.
That's kind of cool.
That would look
Yeah,
sick.
that is kind of cool.
I'll send Lois.
I'm
down
thinking about
there.
getting the shadow box for that belt. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. You want me to send Lois down there to help you out?
Can you deflate her, or do I got to blow her up when she gets here, or how does that work? I mean, I don't know. Like, and I heard. Did you hear the post office? Did you hear the post office is going to be out of money by September? Did you hear about that? He ain't sending nothing, son. He ain't helping him out either.
But you know what? Trump did say something smart, because you know what happens? You have like USPS, like and you have like Amazon uses USPS, right? And they drop their packages off there.
Not all the time. Sometimes.
A lot. Well, not all the time, but they're getting their packages delivered for like nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why the post office needs to raise their prices especially to Amazon. That company's got more money than God. So Trump's right about that. They're losing money because they're freaking delivering packages from Amazon and everyone else for virtually no money.
Outlaw has a good idea for the office. He said, hang a poster of Ringside Robert. I like it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a fat head. I'm going to have Robbie send me a picture. I'm going to make it into one of those fat heads that you stick on the wall. You know, those life-size posters that you can stick on the wall? That's what I'm going to do. Ringside Robbie back there.
I got you.
That's how I'm living. All right. That's what I need. All right. Last fantasy fight of the night of Easter, Beeb. And we couldn't ask for a better fight on Easter. I mean, I guess we could, but I don't know. Listen, there's no fights going on, so we got to make up our own, all right? So just deal with it. Larry Holmes versus Lennox Lewis. Who wins this one and why? Listen, man, both these guys could be considered the best heavyweights of their eras. Larry Holmes and Lennox Lewis both counted on their jab to set up the punches and do damage. I mean, Larry Holmes had like a sledgehammer jab. I mean, he could do damage with that punch. And Lennox Lewis, same way. He cut a lot of fighters up with that shot, man. This fight is crazy because it's very even on paper. When you look at this fight on paper, it's pretty even. Two factors, though, that are working here. And I think Lewis has the advantage in size, and he has it in strength. That being said, I think Larry Holmes was actually the better all-around technician, and I also think he had a better chin than Lewis. All right. I see this fight actually going back and forth. I think Holmes will be pressing the action, but Lewis will actually be the one controlling the action with his jab. Lewis has the advantage with his reach. He's got about a 3 or 4 inch reach advantage on him. He's got about what is Lewis, 6'5", 6'6", about a 3 inch advantage in height. He's a bigger guy all the way around. So, you know, we've all seen Lewis throw the jab effectively all night. Not going to go so far as that he fought in safety mode, but I think that this will be one of those fights where he kind of, you know, he works off his jab. You know, he throws his jab, maybe doesn't work on it all that much. Maybe drops the right hand every now and then. I think Holmes will give Lewis a lot of fits in there with his power, but the reach and the size of Lennox Lewis, to me, is the biggest issue for Holmes. And I think given the fact that it's a 15-round fight, or it's not a 15-round fight, it's a 12-round fight, my pick for this fight is Lennox Lewis by a disputed 12-round split decision.
Okay. Well, the thing about Larry Holmes is he was kind of a slow starter. He was more methodical. Lennox Lewis, on a lot of occasions, would sometimes go right at you. He was an aggressive fighter, but he was a smart, aggressive fighter. Like you said, both guys had great jabs, but once again, Larry Holmes was kind of a flicking jab. He used it just to score points. Wasn't really concerned about really hurting you with that jab. Lennox Lewis had a very powerful jab, one of the types of jabs that could knock you off balance, push you back, okay? Sort of like George Foreman's jab. And Lennox Lewis definitely was the much harder puncher. There's no question about that.
I don't think there's any question about that.
But Larry Holmes predominantly was a guy that liked to fight on the outside. Lennox Lewis, when he got hooked up with Emmanuel Stewart, he ended up being a more well-rounded fighter. He ended up, you know, working on those uppercuts on the inside, and he was shortening up the hook at times on the inside. But a lot of times, you know, when he fought guys who were shorter and try to come up underneath them, he would grab them and kind of contain them. Larry Holmes is 6'3". He's kind of a mid-range heavyweight in today's standards. The big thing with Lennox Lewis is if you couldn't hurt him, you weren't going to beat him. The guys that beat him were the guys that could hurt him. And I'm not saying Larry Holmes couldn't hurt him, but could he hurt him enough to the point where he could incapacitate him? I'm not sure about that because Larry Holmes was a guy who didn't really look for the knockout. He took it when it was there. Lennox Lewis kind of looked for the knockout. He could set it up, and he knew how to press the action. Just a different type of mindset from Lennox Lewis because Emmanuel Stewart trained guys to knock guys out, and he was disappointed when his fighters didn't knock guys out. Larry Holmes, he just wanted to win. I'm not going to go as far as to say he was a safety first fighter, but he wasn't a guy that was going to lay it all out there unless he really had to. I mean, with that Ken Norton fight.
Ken Norton, I was just going to say, yeah.
That was a back and forth fight, but that was because Ken Norton forced him to fight, and he had no other choice. But if he had a choice, he would try to outbox guys from the outside and try to pot shot. Problem is, would he be able to do that against Lennox Lewis, who had a longer reach and who had a good enough jab where he could keep you outside and not let you get close to him? So if both guys throw their jabs at the same time, Lennox Lewis is going to get there first, and he's going to be able to shoot it from a farther distance away than Larry Holmes. So I'm thinking Larry Holmes is going to try and step in with that flick jab, and he's going to run into Lennox Lewis's jab, and then he's also going to run into the right hand behind it. I could see Lennox Lewis stopping Larry Holmes in about 8 rounds because I just think that Larry Holmes after a while would get a little frustrated that he's not able to get close enough, and he may overreach a little bit in one instance, and by him overreaching to try to get close enough where he could land that jab and set up the other shots, I could see Lewis catching him on the way in, and I could see Lewis setting him up with a big 1-2 and putting him out with that big right hand of his. Because Lennox Lewis was also a decent counterpuncher as well. Mm-hmm. So I think Lennox Lewis would bait Larry Holmes in. I think Larry Holmes would get caught reaching, and he would end up running into a big 1-2, and I think that would be the end of it for him. So I'm gonna say Lennox Lewis by 8th round stoppage.
Wow. Okay.
So,
yeah, I think that as I'm following the chat and everything like that, I think that a lot of people agree that it may go back and forth or whatever, and Larry Holmes is a good fighter, but even if you disagree with the way it ends, I think we all see it ending as one way. Lennox wins. And just my opinion. I mean, I just think he's too big for him.
And here's the thing. Everyone keeps talking about, well, if Oliver McCall could hurt Lennox Lewis, if Hasim Rahman could hurt Lennox Lewis. But here's the thing. Lennox Lewis is not going to take Larry Holmes lightly like he took those guys lightly. And you could say, well, what do you mean he took them lightly? Well, I'm sure he trained hard for the fights, but subconsciously there was a sense of complacency going into those fights. He was a huge favorite. Where in this instance, if he was to fight Larry Holmes, he knew what he'd be in for, and I think that he'd be a little bit smarter with the way he set up his punches and stuff. He'd be a little bit more defensively responsible against the Larry Holmes than he was against those two guys, in my opinion.
Well, and I think that we have to count the fighters on their best day. I mean, and Burgess Meredith says, well, Holmes got it from a punch from Shavers. That could be.
Yeah.
But we don't know the situation on the punch. Did he see the punch coming? Did he not see the punch coming?
Lennox Lewis had a way of just blinding you with that jab and shooting that right.
Any punch can put you out.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Any punch, and you talk about the heavyweights, anything can put you out. All right. So either way, we both take Lennox Lewis to win. You take him by knockout. I take him by disputed 12-round decision. But either way, Lennox Lewis advancing. So George Foreman beats Deontay Wilder by murder. Larry Holmes loses to Lennox Lewis. Next week, possibly the best heavyweight ever, Joe Louis versus Vladimir Klitschko. Ken Norton versus Riddick Bowe. 2 good fights. 2 very good fights.
Great fights.
Joe Louis and Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, Klitschko is, it's hard to pick against him. It really is. It's hard to pick. I mean, just because of his style. I mean, how would you compete against? I mean, how big was that guy? 6'7"? How big of a reach did that guy have?
Yeah, he was big.
It's too big.
He was fucking
He's a big guy.
Big guy.
And you talking about Joe Louis at 25, 25 title defenses?
Yeah, Klitschko's like
fought everybody.
6'6". I think his brother was 6'7".
It's crazy. Yeah.
He's
So
a big dude.
2 different eras, man. That's a big one. That is a big one. All right. All right, guys. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. On Twitter, I'm at ringside73. And we will see you guys next week. Happy Easter, everyone. Stay safe, stay quarantined, stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, all that good stuff. All right, guys. We'll catch you soon.
Peace out.